Hello. I can't hear you.
That's because I'm muted and I couldn't find the right screen. I'm like, no. I forgot to send out a reminder, and usually it's on the Google Calendar, but it wasn't. So I'm not sure how many people are going to be here, but I'm glad Dale is here. And I'm
I
sure Christy will pop on through her car.
good. Yeah, I invited one of my classes of students, so interested to see if any of them will show.
Good, 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 good. We have so many things going on in the office here now. So it's one thing after the other at the moment.
No, I'm sure.
I have a big children's event this weekend, so that we're all preparing for that.
Oh, exciting.
And then we have History Day coming up that we're preparing for. So there's quite a few things.
Oh yeah, History Day. Yeah.
Yeah, so we run a regional competition before they get to states.
Hello. Oh, you just turned your camera on. It's the same person. Good to see you again.
I finished eating my lunch, so then I turned the camera on.
I've had days like that. Yeah. We're eating lunch at 4 or 5 o'clock.
I just finished up mine. Been one of those days. Paint Fest this weekend, Dale.
What did you say?
We have Paint Fest this weekend.
Oh, nice.
It's
That's
such a
not
shame we can't hand out flyers through the school anymore. I guess because we asked for a donation, they think we're selling something. It's a bummer. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
I got my screen split and I can't get to the things I need.
Great, we got one more.
Oh.
Nice.
They look good to me.
Huh?
Looks good to
They
me.
look okay, but if you look close enough, there's just like a slight top and
Uh.
it stands out more in these lights.
I'm gonna put Colton
Christy,
here.
you're sharing your
Right.
screen.
They look
Thank you.
Thanks.
It was off, but for some reason it turned on. But
Did
I'm
you
at
need me to
school and my
share-
service is absolutely terrible. So if I leave anything on, I'll be joining the meeting repeatedly.
Oh, let me do it this. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, good. I'm gonna make you co-host, and then
Thank you.
okay.
All right. Should I go ahead and get started? All right, I guess I will. Okay, stepped away because it's 4:01. Welcome everyone. Thank you to Christy. It's a Dale, right? Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, Dale and Jessica. So today we're going to be talking about technology tools to increase student engagement and learning. And I tried to select tools that I'm hoping at least some of them will be new. I don't know how much tech tools that you have, but really I'm hoping you'll participate and say, oh, I want to know more about this one or that one or that one. And I'm happy to show the ones that you are interested or most interested in. So, and so please, please feel free to engage, to talk, tell us what you'd like to know and just help me out here. So I know exactly what you would like to learn about. So the tools today are going to be about increasing engagement, and we know that technology has proven to improve learning and engagement. So whether you're in person or online, using different types of technology tools will definitely improve teaching as well as student learning. Oh, good, we have another person. Okay. So all of the tools I'm presenting here either have free versions or they have like a free trial period. And so depending on your school and how you can request permissions or subscriptions, I guess is the right word. I don't know all that, but I know these are highly recommended and some of the best tools out there. And some of them have great free versions and some just are free trials. So usually after, a tool gets really popular, it drops its free membership, but it's because it's so good. So is everyone here familiar with Padlet? Do we know what Padlet is? Okay, so I've created a Padlet and let's see. Let me jump to the pad. All right, here's the Padlet. Here's the Padlet. So for one of my technology courses I teach, I have them create like a technology toolbox using Padlet. But I feel like the items here you've either heard of before or you probably already know how to use. So how about Storyboard? I wasn't sure. I wanted to show Storyboard today. I wasn't sure if anyone was familiar with Storyboard. You can just say, yes, I know, or no, I'm not familiar. Okay, so if you teach language arts or story writing or do any kind of creative writing, we definitely want to visit Storyboard. That's an amazing product, but it has a short trial version. So that's definitely when you want to ask the principal to purchase for you. Blicket's really popular. I feel like we can kind of skip, I can mention it quickly, but we can skip over Blicket. Pull Everywhere has been out for a while and it's getting better. Edpuzzle, do you already know how to use? Okay, all right. And I know everyone knows Kahoot, so I'm not going to bother with that. Pear Deck, are you familiar with Pear Deck and how it works with the Google Slides? Okay. Nearpod. Okay. Quizzes. Okay, Quizzes it's similar to Kahoot. I like it because it's not so pressure driven, where on Kahoot I get the answer wrong a lot just because I'm so quick to mark an answer. Where Quizzes it doesn't have that kind of a pressure, but it's still a really great, formative assessment quizzing tool. So we can look at that if we want to. Obviously Padlet, this is a Padlet. ThingLink is pretty awesome. I was going to share that today. Okay, great. I'll share about ThingLink. Socrative has been out for a while. It's another formative assessment tool. Plickers. Are you familiar with Plickers? Plickers is a lot of fun. And Plickers you can use with elementary students or high school. You don't need, only the teacher needs a cell phone or an iPad and the students don't. And so I'll share. We'll start with Plickers first. And Quizlet, I'm sure everybody knows about Quizlet. Okay, great. So let's first talk about Plickers. So let's see. I have my Plickers cards handy. Okay. All right. So with Plickers, the free account. So with a free account, you can have up to, you can have like 5 question sets at a time. And so they're multiple choice and these are free. These are the Plickers cards. And so you assign each student a number. And I know you really can't tell, but the numbers are up here in the corner. And it says A, B, C, or D. And so depending on what the student feels the answer is, they rotate their card. So they think, oh, the answer is D. I'm going to put D up at the top. And this is really fun. And so you can buy the laminated ones or you can print them for free. I would print them on cardstock. Some teachers like have their school librarian laminate them, or they put them in sheet protectors because they put them in the kids' notebooks, and so they're getting them out a lot. And so what the kids do is that they hold up their clicker card to whatever answer they think it is, and the teacher opens the app on their phone or the iPad, and it captures all of the answers and it shows up on the phone, and then it shows up on the screen on the next slide. And so it's a great way to have formative assessment, get the kids engaged and having a lot of fun, and just with the cards and not having to use devices, because some schools, or depending on the age group or school policies, the kids cannot take out their cell phones. And so Plickers is a great way to do some of those formative assessments if you don't have, some kind of a device to send it in. So you reveal the answer is C right here. And then the graph, we don't have anyone to answer in right now, but then it would show, the percentage of who got it right and who got it wrong. These are all the questions in the set. And so with a free account, you have to set up your question sets at 5 at a time. So if you have more than 5 questions in a formative assessment, I have like a part 1 and a part 2. And then after I do the first 5, then I just do the second 5, and it's not a big deal. But that's just one of the limitations with a free account. But you can see I have a lot of classes set up. And I just have some generic ones like ice cream class. And what that is that you could either, with each number, you can assign a student the name. And so this way it maintains their privacy. And so, like for example, who's banana split, because you kept track of like who you assigned that to. But when it shows answers and if you don't want students' names to show up, then I do things like cereal or ice cream flavors to kind of protect students' identity. So they'll still participate, and then they won't feel embarrassed if they get it wrong or something like that. That's just one strategy I use. Or just because I don't want to take the time sometimes, because I'm just showing it and just using it once in a while, then I'll just set up a class like this and then hand them out. And so you can print the roster. And so I hand them out and everybody looks at their number. And I know you can't see it. It's really tiny. It's to maintain privacy, so students can't look and see what the answers are on their neighbors. That's why they're so tiny. But then, or the students can say, okay, look at your number. Okay, what's your ice cream? Okay, so now we know, like, who you are, on the Plicker roster. And when you're doing the game, they know if they're banana or strawberry or something like that. So, or you can actually go in and print rosters with the actual student's name. So you would assign the students the number, and you can do whatever you want with it, but it's really nice because you can print out the roster if you need it to. You have class reports, you get data. This is the class average from the last time I did this quiz. So that's really nice. And I really like Plickers because I wouldn't show this to this class, obviously, but for the teacher to know exactly who is doing well, and the green's good, or the yellow is kind of iffy, and the red is below passing. And this is absent. So these students were absent when this quiz was taken. Here's the question by question response. So on this one is 18%. 36% got this right. Nobody got this right, which probably either the question, I marked the wrong answer, or it's just a poorly written question. So I think this is really easy, fast data. And on a free account, to get an app that gives the teachers data is really nice, because I know Kahoot did at one time, and I haven't used it I haven't checked the data, but I can go back at any time and pull this up. So it saves it on the account. Creating a new set is really easy. And you just type in the question. You can enter in images. And so then here I would put some answers. Let's see. And so it's defaulting to A, so I want to make sure that B is selected. And I think you can do more, maybe not. Over here, you can add images, videos, sounds. They have a sound library, or you can add GIFs. So we'll just put in, type in Shamrock. And so these pictures, you know that it's safe to use. They're providing it so it's, copyright or Creative Commons accessible. You can edit your image, replace it, anything like that. And this is graded, okay? And let's see. They have also math equations, fractions. So like if you're doing math problems, that's really easy to do. So I'm going to click add to queue. Oh, sorry. When I'm done, I would add it to a class. And this is what gets me is like, where do I add the next card? You got to come up to the top right and click new question. And then you can just keep adding your questions here. So when you're done, with your set, you can add it to a particular class and then go in to that class, select the quiz, pass out the Plickers cards. And I promise, like, they have a fun time with this because they check, they hold up their answer, you scan it, and then it pops up everyone who's answered. You know exactly if somebody isn't participating or they didn't have their card scanned, because you can see on your phone. So it's just, I really encourage you to try out Plickers. Like I said, you can print these right from the website, the little QR codes, and have a lot of fun with it. All right. Any questions on Plickers before we go to the next one? Okay. All right. We're going to go. Okay. All right. So, okay. So that's on the Padlet. Some of the items on the Padlet are also in the presentation. Okay. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so Storybird is another major favorite of mine. I was a language arts teacher for many years, and I didn't have this when I was still a classroom teacher. I found out about this once I was teaching in higher ed, and I was still able to do some volunteer work as an ESL teacher. And so I used the Storybird with my students to help promote their reading and writing skills. It is fantastic. So we're going to jump to Storybird real quick. And I'm not going to do it justice. Let me tell you, if you do any type of creative writing, it is worth your time to check out Storybird. Like, phenomenal. What it does is that it uses artist actual artwork to inspire the writing. So and okay, there's so much to tell about it. Let me just we'll go into this one right here. So you can tell it's a digital story. But they change the writing process because in school, honestly, we don't teach writing very well. We teach it that a good writer has to come up with a title first, and then you can start writing without any inspiration. Zero. Like, we don't give kids ideas and inspiration. Real writers, they don't work that way. They have inspiration. Most writers, they don't get to choose the title of their books unless they're a very popular author and have been very well published. Usually their editor or team of editors chooses their title. So if they just need a topic, get them to put a topic down. But we don't teach it very well. We don't teach it like actual writers do their writing. The way that Storybird changes it is that it pays for artwork from actual authors, and then students or adults uses the pictures to inspire the story. And when it's done, a person has a story with beautiful artwork versus other stories or storybook apps where the graphics are kind of weak. There's, not a lot of options. The artwork maybe doesn't match from page to page. And so here a lot of the artwork is thematic. And so the same artist will draw like the same character in different scenes. But sometimes you'll have somebody do, the students will choose a random selection of art. Let me show you. So back here, so this is what it looks like for the students. And so once when they start a new project, they can type in a topic like animals, or they can type in a theme like happiness. But they search around all the different artists, and they can click and kind of preview the different art from the different themes. And so once they choose a type of art, then it opens up onto their dashboard, and all of the images are on both sides, depending on how many images are in that artist package. And so the students can sit here and they have a part of the screen where they write their text, and then they can drag and drop pictures in. So they would just click over here and pull it over, and it would just fill in. And there's a couple different layout styles. So you can have the picture at the top and the text at the bottom, or the picture on the left and the text on the right, or at the bottom and the text on the top, things like that. And when you're done, you have this amazing book. And if you noticed, this book has 9,000 views. So you can submit it to the storybook people, the Storybird people, and they will preview it to make sure it's appropriate. And they will, in a way, publish it by putting it on their digital bookshelf here. And so then anybody can go into Storybird and read their book. And so, a third grader can write a book and have 2,000 people read it and 100 people heart it and have 147 comments on it, all in a safe space. It's not out in social media. It's in a safe space, and they don't let anything go public that isn't safe and appropriate. I mean, as far as like really validating a student's writing, giving it a real audience, I think is priceless. So I'm going to show you my account, let's see. Let me go back here. Oh, I got to sign in. My account is expired, so I can only, okay, I think that's it. Okay. So I can only access what I've already done. I can't create a new story. So these are projects that are, that I started. And so I wanted to show you, like, this is what it looks like. So here's the title, and here's the artwork. I mean, hopefully you're thinking like, wow, this is amazing. You can even, on one of their options, you can even go in and like purchase the piece of art, the digital graphic, and download it and put it in a frame or whatever you want. But it's gorgeous, beautiful. So I'm going to show you, it's going to pop up here, these beautiful images from this artist. And so a student, here's a new page, and so they can just click and drag and pull it up or down. And so that one, oh, I think it's okay. Yeah. And then the student could type down here, slowly, the Krakens, stealthy arms, swam below the unsuspecting ship. Okay. But just gorgeous, gorgeous. And it's super easy. You just click plus and you can go on to, and just, and they would preview this and can write the next page to their story. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So I'm going to save and exit here. It's saving it as a draft. And we're going to show one of the books that my daughter wrote, and I helped her with it, when she was in, I believe it was second grade or third grade, and her assignment was to write a trickster tale. And so we wrote it about this unicorn. Oh, no, I can't remember. Anyways, she and I wrote the story together, and she picked the pictures out, and it's actually a pretty good little story. And what is neat is that when it's done, you can print your book. So you can either like pay for them and they can make a hard copy or a paper copy. So sometimes parents will choose to purchase the book. So it says buy now. But you can also download it. So I can download it as a PDF or a printable PDF. And then I can just download and print it off and give it to the student or keep it in the classroom because maybe you wrote the book together as a class. But you can, it's really, really neat. So you can actually have the book and not just have it in a digital form. So you can download it for free or pay to have it printed. You can publish it by putting it on their library, their bookshelf, so anybody can read it. And really, there's just some really amazing stories there. So Storybird is definitely one that I highly recommend. Any questions about Storybird? Here's some of the different options. Like this is what the hardback book would look like. Okay. Yeah, Storybird. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next one. I don't know why that keeps showing up. Okay, I believe you might have already heard of Epic Books. I just wanted to make sure. Yes, we know Epic. Okay, we don't need to spend time on Epic then. Okay. All right. Okay, so this next one is ThingLink, and this is my new favorite tech tool that you can use for designing lessons and learning experiences. So listen to what I'm saying, a learning experience, not a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so you're designing activities that foster students' curiosity and pulls them into the learning. So it's a different type of an experience. You can upload an image. So I created a Bitmoji classroom, and probably you've seen these before. And what they have multiple types of projects. So this is just one, and then I'll show you some of the other projects that you can make with it. Or have students make. So remember, you can make something to teach with on it, or you can have students do projects this way. This is what Ed2 law compliant. And so they have school district, subscriptions, and it's just a fabulous product. So this would be like on the first day of school, I would say, okay, these are my class expectations here. And there's like pop-ups. So you can pop up with text. When you click on hotspot, there can be video there. There can be images and text. And let's go back here and we'll look at some of the other ones. Let's see. Let me find it. Okay, so here's one that I made that has a sound examples of all the different things from this experience. So this would be something that I would have students open up and use on their Chromebooks. So they're each individually engaging in it. It has a play here because it has a sound. You can upload music or an audio file to it. This one has Irish music because it's about Ireland. I'll turn that off. But I wanted you to hear that there's music there. But also for a teacher, you can record your lesson like a podcast. You can make an audio file and upload that. So if you had specific instruction that you wanted them to hear, you can add that as well. And so I've added, this one is just text, but do you see the hotspots kind of, what is it? Flaring, I don't think that's the right word. But here's a YouTube video that you can embed and they can play the YouTube video. You can insert all different types of content. So here is the text, and you can put in as much text as you want because it scrolls down. You can add a link to a website in it. And then I have a couple different pictures here. And so the students, they have to click, they have to scroll, and they have to engage. And it really helps them to be curious. So if you have something like a study guide, and then they have the thing link here to go on and find that information, it's a whole different way of experiencing something that's not a textbook, but they're still reading and it's still fostering curiosity, and it's using multimedia. So here's just another one, text and image. This was another, I uploaded a song. So that's their national anthem. Text and picture, another video over here. So another text and picture, and so picture like carousel. And then there's the references there. You can actually make digital escape rooms with ThingLink, because they have to click on the different items and it opens up like clues and different things. And then you can link them to a net, like, so if they have to leave one space and go to the next one, you can link it to another ThingLink. And so they're going through different ThingLinks. So let me show you some of the projects. Okay, this also uses augmented reality, 360-degree images. You can use augmented reality with or without goggles or VR headsets, so you don't need that. So this is the scenario builder that I was telling you, and it branches the questions out. So students have to make a judgment call or make a decision. So you present them with a question, and it's like, well, what should you do? Should you do option A, or should you do option B? And then it provides you with a way to say, okay, and if you chose this one, here's the next situation. What would you do? So like, I can see doing something like digital citizenship or bullying, or any kind of, in college, they have like simulations. And I don't know how much you guys do simulations in K-12. I used to do them in person without technology, you know. But you can do simulations with it. So if, you know, for example, there's let me see if I can find it. We'll look at some examples here. Let's do, so like they have role play, leadership training. So we'll do customer service. And the thing with ThingLink, even though it's Ed2 law compliant, it's used by businesses in all different types of industries. And so it's a really, really neat project. So many things you can do with it. And so here it's flashing. We're going to click on this. And here's the situation. You're busy at a coffee shop. You've just opened up for the pre-work rush. Here's already a queue of customers forming, and there's another member of the counter staff on shift, currently working in the kitchen, helping to prepare lunch ingredients. Okay, so up here at the top, there's the proceed. So we have the barista machine, and this is a 360 image. And so now students can experience a 360 image of what the machine looks like and learn how to use it. So water refill, the power button, they can move it around, check for blockages. So do you see how, like, in a business setting, they can provide training on different pieces of equipment or different things? Like, there's so many different ways to use it. So we're going to proceed, and we have a problem brewing. The espresso machine, critical to the coffee shop's operation, especially during the morning rush, is not functioning properly. It's not dispensing espresso despite indicating it's ready to brew. Okay, so we're going to proceed. All right, so there's a time limit, so we have to, make a decision within 20 seconds. And so this is that scenario I was telling you about. And so now we have to choose. So you tell me, A, do we inspect the machine quickly, or B, do we tell the customers the machine is not working, so there's no coffee available? What do you think, A or B?
Inspect it.
Inspected. Oh, okay. We're too slow. Okay, so sensible and proactive. We got 50. I think it assumed we inspected it. It probably defaults to A. So that's just still not working. So we're going to proceed. Call for help, power the machine off and hope it'll reset. So we'll try that one. Nope, that's wrong. So we'll call for help. We got that right. And so it's really neat how the student can go through it and have this experience and be involved in making those choices instead of just sitting and, watching a PowerPoint or something like that. Let's go back out here. So they have multimedia editor. So that's what I was showing you before, that ThingLink presentation. They have guided tours. So I've had shop teachers take pictures of their shop and all of the tools that students have to be trained to use. And they had a guided tour. And because when you have a 360 image, you can even zoom in into the room better. So there's a lot of really neat things that you can use ThingLink for. And as you can see, I've had, let's see. I've had a couple of classes of students make projects and assign them projects to do. And some of them are better than others, but it gives them an idea and a way to design a learning activity that's not a video and it's not a PowerPoint or Google slide presentation, but it's another way of delivering information that gets the students involved in it. So think of ThingLink the next time you're trying to find something new and innovative. All right, let's go back here. Okay, and the next one. Okay, how many of you have used Google Arts and Culture? You might have heard of it. So, oh, I already opened it up. So Google Arts and Culture, they used to have Google Expeditions, and that no longer is around, but I believe they moved that content over here. And so there are so many things you can do on Google Arts and Culture. There's choose your own adventures. You can do digital field trips on here. So like we can go and visit this museum, and you can visit museums. You can write postcards. We're gonna click on explore. There's 360 videos. There's experiments, there's historical information here. So many things. So what I found was this, when I clicked on when I was playing with one of the artists, it opened up, I chose the picture and it allowed me to create a postcard. And so I think this would be great if you're teaching about poetry. So you have the artist's image here and you can choose between a couple different types of poems. So we'll click Limerick and the AI is going to do it for you. So like you can have them do it and then you can say, okay, how can you make it better? How would you write it? So we'll see how this turns out. So for someone who loves, we'll say flowers. No, I'll say roses. I think you can rhyme. For someone who loves roses. Okay, so we're going to click write the poem. Once there was a painting by Anchor of a room with a clematis and roses. The colors were bright and the light was so right that it made the viewer's heart open. So it kind of rhymes. It's okay. They'll even let you share the poem, which I think is fun. So you can send it to Google Classroom or email it to a friend. And of course, there's the social media and there's the link. And I was like, that is really fun. So the artist is Anna Anchor, and it's called Interior with Clematis. So it was using information from the painting to write the limerick. And so I would do this first with my students and say, okay, how could we make it sound better? You know, how can we improve the writing or the rhyming? And then have students choose a painting or choose a piece of artwork and write their limerick instead of just sitting them down and saying, okay, think of a limerick. We're missing that inspiration, right? And that creativity. So like there's just a lot of different activities. There's also games on here. And so they have art games, a labyrinth game, a geography game. 3D pottery is a I haven't done all of them. Matchbox moments and the rewild of the world, so an animal game. But they have all of these, you know, educational games on here. That students can just enjoy and learn from. And I just think if there's free time or if you're teaching art and that there's just fun ways of doing it as well, that they can get on and use their Chromebooks and do some really neat stuff with Google Arts and Culture. So if you haven't used it before, it's a great way to spice up a lesson and then students can interact is the cool thing. It's not just like a Wikipedia page where they're just reading the picture, looking at the picture and reading the information. They're actually engaging in it and getting involved with it and doing fun things with that. All right, so okay, so the next one, and I don't know why it goes to this screen. I'm not really sure. Okay, I think everyone knows Canva. Yep, okay, so we won't spend a lot of time on Canva. But Canva, it has a lot of education tools and has whiteboards now. The only thing it's missing are quizzes. So I feel like hopefully maybe in a year or two, they'll come out with quizzes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about infographics and let's present. Okay. I don't know why it goes to the other screen, but infographics is a great way to present difficult content in a visual format for students. Infographics has been research proven to improve comprehension because if you're doing something with informational text and it's very difficult for students to read, by simplifying the information and adding pictures, charts, graphs, videos, and it improves that comprehension. And so I've had students as an assignment, kind of like a little mini research project. I give them topics and then I have them create infographics and then they put the references either on the bottom or on the second page to go learn more about a topic. And it's different than assigning them a Google slide presentation. All we always think about is Google slide presentations. And so it's time to venture away from that. I've used their social media a lot too. And so I've had students like read an article and then pull out either the main idea or the main theme or a quote that they love from it and make a social media graphic with it. And so they're showing, they're synthesizing, and they're adding visual elements to it. So that reinforces the learning. It's one of those brain-based strategies. The one thing I was wondering if you maybe don't know is how to create a video from a presentation in Canva. So creating it, here's like one of my presentations. And the thing with Canva is that it puts a talking head in the corner and so it'll record you doing your presentation and you can see the teacher. Would that be something that you want to look to see how to do that? It's really easy. Okay, so in Canva, here is my presentation. Now, you go through first and you make your presentation, okay, just like you would on anything else. When I click present and record, the camera is on this one and not on that screen, so it's not going to actually show me. so just keep that in mind. So once my presentation's made, I click present and I'm going to select present and record. And do you see how it's going to put my face down here? you can drag it and move it around. So this is record yourself as you present. What's great about this is that you can put your lesson online on your LMS, and it's so much easier than doing Screencastify or one of those other programs that you're trying to open up your PowerPoint and find the audio. It's so easy. So I'm going to click next, and we're going to go to the recording studio. And so there I am. Okay, but when I turn my head, it looks funny. And so it's testing the camera and the microphone, and I'll say start recording. And then I can say, good afternoon, class. I'm really excited to be here, yada, yada. And then I'll click on the next slide and explain that slide, and click on the next slide and explain that slide, and so on and so forth, until I can pause it if I need to get a drink of water, or somebody comes in and interrupts me or something. And then when I'm done, over here is really nice too. So if you want to put your notes in, so you're not saying or trying to think of what to say. I know it sounds like it takes longer to do, but it'll save you time by not having to delete and start over all the time if you write your script. So when you're done, you click end recording. And so it just takes just a minute here. And so ideally, I would have gone through all of my slides and explained them to students. And there's my link. So I'll save and exit it. And then we'll put it up here. And it's going to be terrible because I was talking to you. Then I can say, good afternoon, class. I'm really excited to be here, yada, yada. And so it doesn't show the thumbnails below, right? And it didn't show the audience notes, but I wanted you to see what it's recording, and that it just put me in at the bottom corner there, so the students can see who's talking to them. So this is the next kind of video that I assign students to make, because they can make a presentation and then it adds the transitions in there, and then they have to explain it. So then they're using their critical thinking, they're synthesizing the information again. And this is another way of having them do a presentation. But if you don't have time for 25 students to do presentations in class, they can record them, and then you can watch them, or you can play them back, a few each day or something like that. But then you can also move on in class and go on to the next unit, instead of trying to squeeze in, a whole day's worth of class presentations. But it's also great for leaving a lesson for a substitute teacher. And so your students can see you. You're like, hey guys, I'm not here, but this is what we need to learn today. And then again, for students that are absent, so, if it's on your LMS, they can access it and they can do that learning, or they can review a lesson several times before a test. I mean, there's so many great uses for it. And instead of just putting up a Google slide presentation with no audio and no teacher instruction, and that's what's lacking from the PowerPoint and the Google slide presentations, is that multimedia effect and the teacher's presence. And so again, this is another different type of a learning experience, but it's more effective again because it's that brain-based strategy. It's UDL, we're using audio, we're using visual, we're using movement. And so it's really, really beneficial to students. And you saw how easy it was. I just went to present and record. Super easy.
Where is it stored in Canva? Is there a limit?
I don't know if there's a limit. So I copied, let me see, let me go back into it and see if it's saved it here. So here it is. It saved it here.
Live public link.
I believe this is it. Present and record. Download. Let's see. So if it downloads. Nope. Let me see. Present and record.
Downloading as a PDF.
No, but see, here's that link again, because it recorded it, and then when it was done, it gave me the link.
Yeah, I'm
And
just kind of
it-
curious if I record like 5 or 6 lessons, how I can go back and find those recordings.
So it's attached to the presentation, it looks like. So,
Oh,
so
okay.
when you go to your dashboard,
Uh-huh.
so on your dashboard, you would just, I don't think it says it, but when I go in, okay, and I click
Oh, yeah.
share,
Yeah.
there's that link that it gave me, and there's my face for my recording.
Yeah.
So I
Very
can
cool.
copy that and share it. Or I can, present and record. There's the live link. So if I want to copy that and put it in and play it. So, or if I just want to present it just like a normal presentation. So I think that's kind of smart. So you don't have like 3 different versions of the same presentation. You have the presentation and then you have different ways you want to display it. So it's super nice that way. I really encourage you to, like, if you love Canva and you use it a lot, like, it's really worth your time to play around and try that present and record tool. And there's the autoplay. So if you want to just present it and have it go through the slides on its own. Let's go back. See, it's going on its own. I'm not clicking it. And so that reminds me of like when you go to weddings and they have the slideshow of the couple and all the pictures. And so you can just play it, or maybe at a conference or something like that, just to get people's attention. But I love that feature of it. So there's a lot of really neat things in Canva. You can create folders for your classes. And have students create projects and put them in the class folder so you can grade them there, unless you want them to download it and turn it into your LMS. But again, lots of different ways. Like they have they can create websites now. So if you haven't experimented with the websites, I would really encourage you. I've had some students create some great websites on Canva. I haven't used the whiteboards too much at all, but I'm not going to talk about them because I haven't used them too much. All right, so we're getting short on time. All right, so the next one, I wasn't sure if you've heard about, oops, we're going to skip over Picture Chart's another infographic website, but we're going to go to Wakelet. And have you heard of Wakelet before? Have you used it? No? Okay, so Wakelet, I don't know why it keeps doing that. Wakelet is like a class, like a website, but it's also a blog, and it's very different than just a Google site or just a Canva website, because you can have people leave comments and you can have interactions on it. So it can be a collaborative communication type of a platform. So you can use it for lots of different things. You can use it to put like all of your materials for a teaching unit. You can put all the resources for a student project here. So instead of just putting boring hyperlinks on a Google Doc, you can put them on a Wakelet that has pictures, videos embedded right into it with the links, which is a lot better and more visual than just saying, click and open this in YouTube, click and open this image, and things like that. Students can use them for creating portfolios. Professionals have used them for CVs and because you can actually show your work on here. Digital storytelling is another use of them. Differentiated learning, so different types of projects, research projects. You can use them for class or school newsletter, to show, to parents what you're doing in your class. So here's an example of, this is just one of the many different layouts. And so this one's on AI. And so you can see how it has like different buttons in for different tools, different websites, text, links, text. And so let me go to the Wakelet home. and let me just log in. There's so many different ways for Wakelet, and they have a training. So like it's a free training on their, I think on their resources. Let's see. So here is one. Here's another one, kind of similar background. So you can put like your links to your websites here, your resources, but here's one. Okay, so here's one from New York. Students can they can add, so you can give it permission so people viewing it can add their own content. So that way it's collaborative. So if you want a class project, say, okay, everyone go, from, send your favorite picture, and like it has a QR code, and they can share all of their content. They can share something from their phone or their computer right up to it, and it'll post on it. There's just so many different ways of using Wakelet that it's really worth more to investigate it, to try it out. Let's watch this video because I feel like it's going to do a better job than I am to explain it. Okay, let's.
Hello everyone, I'm Misbah, and today I'm going to show you 3 quick and fun activities that you can do with your students in the classroom. Now remember, these work just as well with remote learning as they do with in-person learning. Now, the Wakelet platform has been designed to be as easy as possible to use for both teachers and students, so you shouldn't have any trouble at all getting your students onboarded with their very own Wakelet accounts and turning them into Wakelet pros in no time. And look, we get it. We know that students use platforms like TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, and although these platforms are difficult to compete with when it comes to attention, we at Wakelet have worked really hard to make the design and features of the platform as welcoming to students as possible. So before we jump into the 4 ideas, I wanted to quickly show you how to import your students and create accounts for them on Wakelet. Now, one of the trickiest things for you as an educator is managing student logins and overseeing their accounts. Well, don't worry, because once again, we've made this process as easy as possible for you. Whilst you're on Wakelet, just click the Classrooms button at the top of the page. This is where you can import, manage, and view your students' accounts at any time. Just click the Import button, choose your account provider, connect your account, and then choose which classes you'd like to create accounts for. Once you've done this, your students can immediately log into Wakelet using their existing school credentials. And once they log in, they'll have a safe, secure, and private corner of the internet where they can create amazing things, collaborate with their classmates, organize their research, and of course, build digital portfolios. At this point, it's important to note that when it comes to the security and privacy of your students' accounts, we take this very seriously. We're COPPA, FERPA, GDPR, and EdLaw 2D compliant, making us one of the safest platforms to use in the classroom. So with all this in mind, let's get straight into some awesome learning experiences that you can do with your students today.
Did you hear he's the learning experience?
Okay, so first up is a great simple task that really doesn't take up too much time, but is great for building empathy and digital citizenship with your students. This is also great as the first task that students do on the Wakelet platform because it helps them understand how the platform works. So to work on this task, all you have to do is ask your students to create a collection that is all about them. Ask them to include things like their hobbies, their families, music they like, movies they enjoy, games they play, and anything else that they feel that they want to share. They can call this collection Meet the Student. And once they're finished, you can share these collections with everyone else in the class. This is an amazing way to help your students make new friends, share their interests, and discover things about their classmates that bring them closer together and make them empathize with each other like never before. Based on feedback from our community, the best way to introduce this task to your students is by creating a Meet the Teacher collection yourself and then sharing it with your students. They'll then get a better understanding of who you are as their teacher and what is expected of them in the task. Okay, so let's move on to the next activity, which I think is quite possibly the most important thing that you can do with your students on Wakelet. And the sooner you do it, the better. I'm talking, of course, about student portfolios. Now, I know that some of you will have heard about portfolios before, but for those of you who haven't, it honestly is one of the most impactful activities that you can do with your students today. The aim of this activity is to encourage your students to create and maintain a portfolio of all of the things that they have accomplished inside and outside of school. Now, this is a really important thing to do because
So we're getting short on time and there's not enough time to watch the rest of this, but lots of training, a lot of videos on YouTube about how to use Wakelet. And like I said, the difference is that it's collaborative. And so you can set it up where other people can contribute content, like in that example I showed you before. We were at a conference and they had a QR code that it provided. And so you could send something from your phone or a link. And oh no, you shared I'm explaining it wrong. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, so on here, he shared the URL, probably I think he made it into a QR code, and then on here we could add anything. We could write, we could add a picture, we could add a video, any web address on here to make this to have this whole variety of content. So this is this is what I did. This is a picture that I took when I was in France one time. So kind of like a Padlet where you can have everyone contribute to it, or you can set the settings up so it's private. Or you can go in and have people like and leave comments on different things. So they can watch a video and then they can post comments below it. There's just a lot of different ways for using Wakelet that make it really fun, because we're moving away from just static websites and tools where we're just reading and ingesting content. Students want ways to interact. Teachers want to get them motivated and get them involved. And so doing something a little bit more than just a website where you can do thumbs up, like this one here, you can leave a thumbs up. Students can get that reassurance and that feedback and leave comments on different, on each other's websites. I mean, you can show content. There's just so many different things you can do with it. So Wakelet is just really, really fun and really worth your time checking out. So I hope that you got some good ideas today, that you were introduced to some technologies that maybe you weren't aware of or you haven't visited in a while. And there's some of my favorites. So Storybird, for sure, check that out if you're into digital storytelling at all. Wakelet's great for portfolios and class projects as well as individual projects. Creating videos on Canva, using Google Arts and Culture and getting them engaged and really doing things with the pieces of art, or playing games that deal with art and history and culture. So lots of different ways to engage students. And that's it, folks, unless you guys have a question for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
These have been great. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.